We're live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Thursday Night Live here on SAFC Fan TV with your host, Jacob Kirkbride, as we fill is out, doing what he does best, being number one grafter, delivering all the parcels. Joining me on tonight's show is the man who's recently hit 2,000 subscribers on his own YouTube channel, Mr. Michael Bowers. The man who rarely cracks a smile unless a hilarious joke has been spoken, Mr. Dino Elgar. The man behind the mic on a match day, home and away with Sunderland Football Club, Sean Middleton. Hashtag, here we go, the mad mistake with his Manager of the Month trophies on his shelf. And also our beloved editor, Mr. Conrad Lee, who reminds me when his cat sits on his lap of Ernst Stavro Blofeld from the 1960s James Bond films whilst he's doing his editing.
Need to do a bit. Wait.
He's
been rehearsing that all day, honey.
Hello, Mr. Bond.
Guys,
like Sean turning round. Hello, Mr. Max Power.
Yeah.
Guys, don't forget the live chat is open if you want to put forward any questions to us, lads, whilst we're live on air, and we'll try our very best to answer them. And also, don't forget to please like and subscribe if you're a fan of our channel, as we're trying to reach 5,000 subscribers come Christmas time to make it a very happy Christmas for all of our fans of the channel and also all of us associated with SAFC Fan TV. So we're going to start off tonight's show by just reflecting. It's been, let's just say, a very negative past few days for Sunderland Football Club. There's been a lot of frustration knocking about, considering the performance that the side put in following Saturday's 2-1 defeat to MK Dons. A lot of negativity on social media, fans having a go at each other. A lot of fans questioning whether Phil Parkinson is the right manager to take us forward. But that's what we're going to start with this evening, because earlier in the week, Sean, you put out a poll, didn't you, about a list of candidates who could possibly replace manager Phil Parkinson. So Sean, take it away if you want to kick things off and talk about the candidates who were on that poll.
Obviously, when you do a poll on Twitter, you only pick 4. I just went with basically the people who were sort of unemployed at this precise moment, and I went with Gus Poyet. I went with Stendhal, who was the Barnsley manager. I went with Roy Keane, because I'd spot Roy Keane because he's, and I went for Sky at a minute, but he done well, didn't he? And I went with Paul Cook, as we all know, is unemployed at the minute. So I went with them 4, and I think the results. I'll just get the results up.
Can't even remember what I voted for now.
811 votes. Roy Keane actually got the most votes on 38%. And second place was Gus Poyet on 29%. Paul Cook on 27%. Obviously, Daniel Stendhal was on 7%. You can only put 4 names in, but I was asking people to put their choices underneath as well. But for me, if Parkinson was to be sacked, which I'm mad is pretty clear, I don't think Donald will sack him because he hasn't got I don't think he's got the money to, basically. But as we all know, I think Parkinson's skating on thin ice now. I only stick up for the bloke as much as I can. But he's not justifying himself now. I think he's one game away from me just totally falling off the fence. And if that was the case, and I was looking at the managers there, I think Paul Cook. I was looking at this, I was looking at Phil Parkinson's win ratio as well, and I was comparing it to Paul Cook. I know Paul Cook has been in the championship with Wigan for a couple of seasons, so you've got to put that into perspective. But the win ratios between the two men, Phil Parkinson and Paul Cook, is not actually. There's not much of a difference. So, but a lot of people say Paul Cook, he plays a good style of football, and other people's quickly saying as well, he'll get the best out of Grigg and Max Power. I'm not exactly sure about that, but out of them 4, I would look to see Gus Poyet come back. And then if he's listened to the podcast, I didn't listen to it, but I thought he'd done really well. I wouldn't mind Gus Poyet. Roy Keane, if he come back, he would sort the people who was taking the piss. You could say, but he wasn't pulling the weight. He'd give him a good scene to, So that's my opinion on that, Jacob.
Yeah, so on the live chat, Chris Scott, well done, Jacob, on the promotion. Good to see youth given a chance, unlike Sunderland's youth players under Jurassic Parky. Andrew Robbins, I think Parkinson knows he's on the way out. because apparently he doesn't want to work with a sporting director. So Robert Forster, Gus Poyet is a close friend of Juan Sartori. That's another interesting point to make. Mr. 90, pure porno Tash. I'm not sure who he's referring to.
He's about Dino. Look at Dino. Look at him.
No. Jack Dodds. I don't really care about what style or football we play as long as the results come. The Spaniard 80, lovely little duster on your top lip, Dino. Stuart Diggle, Gus Poyet, all day long, passionate with attention to detail, stylish football. And Andrew Robbins again, Mad Macamate, as much as we would miss Stuart Donald. Was it Mad Macamate 8? About as much as we would miss Stuart Donald as owner. I think he's referring to a previous comment made in the chat there. So, Michael, would you agree with the list of candidates that Sean's put on that poll there?
Paul Cook is probably my best option out of the four. Right, let me see if I get this right. So it was Roy Keane, Daniel Stendel, Paul Cook, and Gus Poyet. Those were the four options.
Yeah.
If I was to go through each of them, I think Paul Cook, for me, I think is a realistic option. I think it's one that, given that we are in League One, he knows how to get out of this division. And as much as I know Sean said he wasn't sure about the power and grit thing, that is part of the reason I do want Paul Cook, especially when it comes to World Grade, because I think he is capable of a lot better than what he's showing at the moment. Having said that, I can't defend him if he's going to miss sitters from 2 yards out. The other ones, Gus Poyet is my second favourite Sunderland manager. Behind Big Sam. Ever since I've started following Sunderland, he's gave me some of the best memories of my life following Sunderland, particularly that League Cup semi-final win at Old Trafford. That was one of the best nights of my life, period. I'm never going to forget stuff like that. My only worry with Gus Poyet is are the players that we've got capable of the standard of football the type of football he wants to do, which is that possession-based passing game. I don't know. Maybe it is. I don't know. But we'll have to wait and see on that one. Daniel Stendel, I don't think is a bad shout. I know he obviously hasn't done much at Hearts. He hasn't done anything at Hearts. I think he either got them relegated or was on the sack of, or was left on the brink of them getting relegated. I think he got sacked from Hearts, but I might be wrong on that one. And then there was the last one, Roy Keane. Roy Keane's the one I'm most skeptical about out of those four options, because principally I like Roy Keane's philosophy and ideology that you don't accept mediocrity. And to an extent, I think we need that attitude within the club. I think, especially over the last 4 or 5 years, I think the standards at Sunderland have dropped unacceptably to a low point where it seems like, drawn against Rochdale and drawn against Bristol Rovers and losing MK Dons are acceptable results when they're not. There's no way, shape or form they're acceptable results for Sunderland. But with Roy Keane, my big issue, and I think everyone might have said it before, he's been out of management for about 10 years now. Now, I know he's been in number 2 positions. That sounds right. He's been in assistant manager positions.
Nottingham Forest and Aston Villa, isn't he?
Yeah, and he's with is it the Republic of Ireland?
He was
when Martin O'Neill was manager.
Yeah, I believe so. So in that sense, that's the only concern I have. That Roy Keane, I think since Ipswich in 2009-10, I think since then he hasn't had a first team manager position. Now, the question is, would he lose the players straight away? Because this type of caliber, you don't tend that type of ideology and attitude. As much as I like what Roy Keane's trying to get across, it's not going to last that long in management. So I'm a bit more skeptical on Roy Keane, but that's because I didn't see us during his first spell here as manager. But you know what? If Roy Keane came in, for example, till the end of this season, I wouldn't be totally against it, because the standards do need to improve.
Back to the live chat, Clayton Edwards. Would you not think Chris Hutton or Gary Rowett be realistic? Matt Hartley, Alan Kirbishley for me.
Does he mean Chris Houghton?
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought Chris Houghton's already got a job, has he?
Yeah, he's with Forest.
Yeah, so that one's ruled. Matt Hartley, Alan Kirbishley for me. That one's out the window. He hasn't managed for years. David Walker, Cook or Poyet for me. And we Phillies throwing in a suggestion, Howard Wilkinson for me. Like, no chance. Brings me, honestly, gives me nightmares that 02-03 season. So who are we going to go to next? The Mad Mistake. if Phil Parkinson, let's make this clear, if Phil Parkinson was to lose his job, is there any names that we've not mentioned that you would like to see enter the manager's role?
Well, it depends who takes over as the owner, because if it stays the same with Stuart Donald, we're not going to spend any money at all on anybody, to be fair, especially Keano's got no chance of coming under this current regime. I can't see Paul Cook coming to League One to be sort of under Stuart Donald's reign. I'm thinking Stendhal probably no chance. So, to be honest, we need a decent owner coming in. But if Satori does come in and it is Gus Poyet's close friend, then Gus Poyet hasn't got a job at the moment. I could see Gus Poyet probably coming in League One. I think he'd probably get it. I think this team can pass the ball. I just think they're under the wrong instructions to play a different type of football. I've seen at times the team can pass fluent, decent flowing football. They just need to be guided properly from a decent manager. To be fair, so I mean, I've mentioned Kevin Phillips before, and people laugh it off, say it's sort of hiding to nothing being in League One. But League One for me, where new managers need to start, he's got his badges. He's been assistant a couple of times. I mean, how long does a man have to wait before he starts becoming a manager, before he gets the first managerial position? A lot of managers now go in the higher leagues, where in the olden days, and they went down the lower leagues, League One, League Two, they started to earn the trade. Now, I don't think for the life of me, a normal, decent Sunderland fan would turn on Kevin Phillips. I would never turn on Kevin Phillips. I think Kevin Phillips is the kind of bloke where things went a bit sour and he wasn't doing a very good job. He'd probably walk away anyway because he's a decent bloke. But I've got faith in him. I think he would do a decent job. I think he would do a good job at Sunderland. I think he'd do a good job no matter where he goes for his first position, and I wish him all the best. I mean, it depends whether he wants to do that or whether now he's happy being at Sky Sports. But for me, out of the four that was given out there, Keano's got no chance. I don't really fancy Stendhal, so it's Gus Poyet or Paul Cook. I think Paul Cook would do an absolutely brilliant job if a decent owner came in.
On the chat, it's Bobby Cowley. I'm 16 today. I feel so old. Happy birthday to you, mate. Jake Collison has suggested Gianfranco Zola. I'm not sure whether he'll be up for the task of being Sunderland Football Club's new manager if Phil Parkinson was to get the chop. Colin Major, Big Sam for me. I think it's a money question. Will Big Sam really want to come back, particularly to a club in League One? No, I don't think so. Jack Dodds. I'd like Wee Philly as manager. At least we would get some dad jokes in pre and post match interviews. Jake Collison has also thrown in, let's bring in Slavica Jakanovic. I think he used to be Watford manager.
Valery Boyanov.
Is that who it is?
Yeah, he used to play for Man City, didn't he, years ago?
I was about to say that was their striker, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Right, so that being said, I think Dino, we're going to come to you next. Obviously, with Phil Parkinson, he is still Sunderland Football Club's manager at the moment, but rightly so. He is treading on very thin ice right now, particularly with a lot of pressure that the fans are giving him at the moment. But he is still our manager. We've got to back him as much as we can going into that game this weekend. But if Phil Parkinson was to lose his job as manager, who would you like to see get a look in at least?
Cheers, man, mistake.
I've just seen it. He's not sorry.
Guys. Anyway,
it's a me, Dino.
The thing is he under pressure? I don't think he is. He might be under the pressure by the fans, but since when the board care what the fans think? Let's be fair. In the board's eyes, he's doing a good job. He's up there in the top 6, top 7, but a couple of points off second place. So he cannot be under pressure. According to the board, he's under pressure from us because we're playing shit, but to them, he's doing a fantastic job. So, fuck's sake, Super Mario, man. I don't like this analogy that Paul Cook will come in and straight away power and Greg will click. I mean, if it takes one man to come in to make them click, that just shows them two are down-tooled. It's as simple as that. So if them need Paul Cook to come in for them to play like they did at Wigan, it just shows how much they've down-tooled. And I don't believe, like Roy Keane said it himself, why should I should play 100% for every manager and not just one. Before Parkinson came in, I wanted Stendhal. Because the way Barnsley played football, they were attacking. And I feel like our attack, well, in the first season we're here, was mint. Like you say, we had McGeady, we had Madja, we had the players to go forward and beat teams just by attacking them. But it was with defence we let we're down, and all of a sudden we started trying to defend leads and we always give it away. So I did want Stendhal just for the simple fact we had better attacking prowess of scoring goals. I wouldn't mind Roy Keane back. I don't know why. I know Michael's against him because he's been out of management for 10 years, but you want to bring Kevin Phillips. You'd want Kevin Phillips, even though he hasn't had a job. At least Roy Keane's got the experience in that matter, and I would say he's one of our most successful managers in recent time. He got promoted from top to bottom. I mean, from bottom to top. That makes no sense. From bottom to top, he kept winning the Premier League.
It was the top of one league to the bottom of the next one up.
Well, you could say that. He kept winning the Premier League. He didn't take any shit. He had his standards and you had to meet them standards. There was no fucking about with Roy Keane, which I liked. And with Kevin Phillips, it's like you say, it's a big risk, but you do have to start from somewhere. But if I had to choose between Phillips and Keane, I'd probably say Keane because he's got the experience. He's managed with before, and he's one of the best managers we've had since he left, really, from Big Sam, or would you say Gus Poyet with getting to the final? So for me, I would happy enough have Roy Keane back 100%.
Back to the live chat. Jane Fitzgerald, another added to the list of Sean's female admirers whilst he's on SAFC Fan TV. Why is Sean's hair so blonde? Mr. 90, Ronnie Moore is the man for the job. Robert Forster, with the new ownership on the horizon, it's doubtful if Parky would be sacked at the moment. Michael Quinton's, Nigel Pearson for me. I think we're thinking too far outside I think it's money once again. I don't think Nigel Pearson would come to a club in League One. As much as I want him, I think also with Kevin Phillips potentially being his number 2 like it was at Leicester, very hard seeing him coming back. Alan Walton, Philly and Karen as physio. Funny suggestion. So the last person we're going to go to on this topic, Conrad, our beloved editor. Any managers that been throwing in on the live chat that you would like to see give a go if Parkinson was to lose his job, or have you got any suggestions of your own?
On the live chat, I just saw Andrew Robbins just put Mick McCarthy. I did like Mick McCarthy when I was here, and I think he'd get the best out of the players as well at this sort of level, because what was it? When he was last at Ipswich, they were sort of teetering on the edge of the Championship anyway, and so it wouldn't be a big sort of drop down for him to come back here. And even after his spell with us, I think we all thought we liked him, just he just couldn't get anything more out of that group of players that he had in 06, given next to no money when your top striker is John Stead for $1.5 million, and like Chelsea and that are signing players for like 40. Yeah, and Chelsea is signing players for like 40-50 million a piece, and that's your star signing of the summer there. I agree with Dino though. I'd really want Roy Keane back, mainly just because, as he alluded to as well, it's just the standards that he set when he was here, like what was acceptable to. So even if we lost under Roy Keane, you felt like they gave it a go. They all tried. Like, how many goals under Roy Keane did we score in the last minute of injury time? Just because we were going to the end. We were not until that game was finished. We were still involved in it. And they even They even had a DVD of just literally here's the highlights of goals we scored in the last minute just to stay up that first season or something.
Saint-Michel.
Yeah,
that was fantastic.
It was just because at the moment you sort of get to this point, like, I don't know if Michael and Sean felt this as well against MK Dons, but when we got to like 75, 80 minutes, you were sitting there going, well, that's it now. Like, when we haven't got anything else to offer. Whereas under Roy Keane, you always thought, we'll get another chance. We do this. Like, we go to the end no matter what happens, and they'll give everything for him. I don't even care if it was out of fear of the man that they were scared to upset him. That's fine. If that's how they played best because he scared the shit out of them, good. That's how it should be. You want to give everything for your manager and everything for the fans. That's how it should be.
Back to the live chat. Jane Fitzgerald, Ian Dowie is the man, I think. Once again, I think that's quite risky considering I think he took whole City down, and I think I remember he didn't do a decent job when he was Charlton manager, I believe.
I forgot he was there.
Yeah, we Philly dirty knees all day. I think he's referring to Paolo Di Canio. Michelle Quintons. Yeah, Michelle. Sorry, I've called your name as Michael before. Chris Coleman, maybe. I'm not so sure. I think a lot of fans weren't really happy with his very negative style of football when he was manager. I thought he would be a lot more ambitious, I thought, when he was Sunderland manager. Harold Dong, what about Philip Cocu, who's recently been sacked? Has he been sacked by Derby County? Yeah. Wayne Rooney's going. Yeah. Like again, I think it's money. I just don't think someone like him with that amount of pedigree would come to Sunderland Football Club at the present moment. So on to my opinion. Obviously, a name that has been mentioned a few times while speaking to all you guys has been Roy Keane. The way how I see it with Roy Keane is, obviously, he is still my favourite Sunderland manager since I've been supporting the club. But you have to take into account when Roy Keane was our manager, he had an absolutely fantastic owner upstairs in Niall Quinn who cared about the club. The pair worked really well together to sort out the recruitment, get players in. I think we need to be honest with ourselves. If Roy Keane was manager now, working with the players he's currently got in that dressing room in terms of the quality they had compared to the squad he had in that 06-07 season, well, I know he brought a few in and turned them into top draw players. Is also Roy Keane the same manager as he was a decade ago? And can you see Roy Keane really having a solid relationship with the board that we currently have in place? That's depending on whether a takeover happens or not. And also Gus Poyet, I think it's an interesting one considering that Uruguayan Juan Sartori's been given a bigger role at Sunderland Football Club now. Could there be a Uruguayan connection in there, potentially looking at bringing in South American recruitment if he comes back? I remember listening to an interview recently saying, I think Gus Poyet admitted that he would potentially come back if he was given the chance. But yeah, Phil Parkinson is still here for now. So, Dino, you want to jump in there, mate?
Yeah, when you said about South American recruitment, remember the last time we've done that? Socorro. I mean, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Simple as that. I mean, Virginie, and I had his good games, but he had some awful games.
Scored a brilliant own goal at Southampton.
Utari, didn't he play? Julio, that's one.
Then you've got Nicholas Mendina, haven't you?
And let's be fair, if Poyet came in, he'd just be Statori's puppet, basically. I mean, when Poyet was here, I didn't really enjoy his brand of football, to be fair. I thought his brand of football was quite boring when we played. He made signs like Bridcut and like Will Buckley. He basically just bought the Brighton team when he managed them. I mean, I wouldn't be very in favour of Poyet, to be fair.
Right, moving on to our next topic of the show. It's approaching almost a week now since the latest takeover was reported by Kirill Louis Dreyfus that he's going to come in, potentially striking a deal with Stuart Donald. But one thing I want to put forward to you guys is that Phil Smith from the Sunderland Echo, he put out an interesting article this afternoon saying Sunderland takeover, 7 steps that must be taken. That's if the takeover was to happen. Install a proper day-to-day relationship. Will it outline a clear football strategy? Can we rebuild the recruitment department? Can we reach out to those who've potentially left the club for them to come back? Protect the future of women's football in the city. Take a proactive approach to squad rebuilding, and the final one, create consistency in supporter relations. Like I've said on the last 2 shows, it depends on whether how much of this takeover talk is true. And Sean, you put out another poll relating to that, didn't you? Takeover or fake over? Yeah, so would you kindly like to describe the results of that poll that you put out?
Yeah, well, there was only about 300 votes, I think, altogether. But obviously the takeover got 61% and the fake over was 39%. So the majority is sort of feeling confident about the potential takeover. So, I mean, it was reported by two reliable journalists, like I said the other day, James Hunter and Keith Downey was the Sky Sports. So, I know they didn't get it wrong every time, but it would sort of coincide with what people's been saying, because Donald didn't want a full sale. He just wanted to, even though he did say to Nick Barnes, I don't know if he's heard it a few months ago, he said to Nick Barnes after the Red and White Army, the meeting with them, he said that if somebody can give us the 37.5 million and pass the EFL checks, then they can have the club. So, I mean, has there been any parties which match that fee? We don't know, but I mean, for me, do I think it's going to happen? Well, I'm not too sure. I mean, see, the club report on it, they kind of like sort of comment on it, sorry, that until everything's done and dusted. But I mean, if there was any sort of sale or this would be sort of what Donald would do, wouldn't he, to retain some shares, like 15% retaining, and Salmon Pants 5%, Sortori 20%, and then that new lad with the 60%. I don't know, it's just one of them, innit? I mean, I've been, I don't want to bring him up, like, but William Story, I've been arguing with a couple of people today. I just want to say one thing. I haven't categorically said that William Story is taking over the club. I'm just wondering why you'd sort of go for all this palaver in the end, if he's talking out his arse, he's going to get found out anyway. Do you know what I mean? Because even if this happens with this young lad, what's his name again? Kirill Louis
Dreyfus. I think we pronounced it right.
Yeah, Kirill Louis Dreyfus. Obviously, if he gets the club, then I'm sure then the club can see, there was nothing in the stories with their story, then it'll just make them look very stupid. Do you know what I mean? So I just don't see, why we want to lie so much. You know what I mean? But that's another story anyway. I'm just on the fence with this takeover. I think I want Donald gone, to be fair. As I said last time on the show, I think he said to Nick Barnes, he says if somebody matches the money, 37.5 million, which I'm sure somebody will match that, then he'll leave in our capacities. But for some reason, if this goes through, he's going to retain 15%. So it's not about the money in, but it is really, because he's retaining it until we get back to the Premier League. But my feelings on that bloke anyway, he's just a lying bastard. So there you go.
Apologies for the language there if any children are watching. Before we go to the mad mistake, Sean, I saw that you mentioned salmon pants there, referring to Charlie Meffin. Have you got your salmon pants on tonight?
Yes, I have, yeah.
No
pants in it, bit of pants.
Oh, there we go.
I'm turning around because Dino said I've got no ass.
You didn't?
The man mistake you wanted in, and then we're going to go to the live chat.
Yeah, I wanted to ask Sean. Sean, you spoke to William Story a couple of times on the phone. What's your gut instinct with him? Do you think that he's believable? Do you believe in him?
Friend.
Like, I was talking to my friend today, and well, this basically, I mean, it says, why would let's get to reality here. Why would he bother with you? Who are you? Like, let's be real. I'm just a fan. I'm nobody. You know what I mean? I'm just a fan. I'm not somebody important. Why would he sort of give you all that information? You know what I mean? I just my side of it, I'm thinking, why would you? He rang us today actually, because I messaged him yesterday saying about his tweet with the EFL, because he put a tweet about the EFL, and he didn't message back, but he rang us and I was like, well, I didn't answer. But he did say something, but I'm not going to say it. But like I say, I'm sitting again about it because everybody's just giving us crap on Twitter, and I've not once said, I believe him. I just said I didn't understand what the man's motives are, because in the end, he will look very stupid if he's lying. Do you know what I mean? People say it's to promote his rich energy, his online energy drink, just to promote that, promote himself. I just don't understand why he would want to, make so much thingy about it, Dino.
Well, you're saying that he'll make a fool of himself, but he's done that with Formula One. He's used to making a fool of himself. If we're going to be perfectly honest, I mean, you've ripped off the Formula One 40 million. That's according he did. I mean, So it wouldn't be the first time he's made a fool of himself. Let's be fair.
Before we go to you, Conrad, on the live chat, Rachel Brettle, Roy Keane spotted at CM Hotel. I'm not sure if there's any truth in that whatsoever. Chris Scott, Pottymouth, Middleton. Graham Lindsay, bang on Sean. So you got a fan there. Jack Dodds, you've got a lovely arse, Sean. Albert Robinson, looks like Johnny Vegas' son, lad in the bottom right corner. I don't know who. I'm guessing is he referring to Super Mario there?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm not in the bottom right on mine. I'm in the middle.
I think when we watched this back was watching it on the live stream. Super Mario, you are in the bottom right corner, so he's referring to you. Yeah, Conrad, did you want in there?
Yeah, it was only just to say we had a comment on about the William Story thing, and it's just what I keep coming back to every time when someone talks about him. It's just and it was Eddie Bamber. The club's reluctance to dismiss Story is baffling. If he really is just taking the piss, surely the club would just shut him down and shoot him down. Like, they could make him look stupid if they just went, "What are you on about? We haven't had a single thing to do with you." Do you know what I mean? But they haven't come out and said that. Stuart Donald can't be liking all the stuff he's putting on Twitter about how bad Sunderland's being run. So literally, he could just be like, "Right, press off's put out. We're not dealing with him. He's just talking a load of shit." But they haven't. And why? Like, that's the big thing that I keep coming back to. Why were they not saying it's not him?
Yeah.
To confuse the fans, to confuse who's actually in talks. I mean, don't forget we had the Dell people in talks. Yeah. We've had other people in talks. We've had a few people in talks. So it's basically to keep the press guessing, so they can't figure out who they're actually talking to. It's just a diversion.
Sorry, like what you say there.
I'm not a fan of Rich NG. I'm a fan of Red Bull.
A bit like what you said there, Dino. Could it be? It could be a way to keep the fans off from asking, well, who is involved? If William Story is constantly talking, to go the other side of the argument, they're probably going, "Hey, he's doing all the talking for us. That the attention's not on us while we dick about with the club or do what I want." It's they're sort of silently going by if William Story's doing all the talking.
Or Story's keeping his or Donald's keeping his options open. Donald could be just keeping his options open.
Yeah, very true. It could all be happening. We don't know.
I mean, Sean, I will ask you. Obviously, there's certain things that you can and can't say, considering like you have contact with William Story. Is he still hoping that he could potentially sneak in with a bid if this deal doesn't go through?
Well, basically, in a nutshell, I'm just going to say it again. So people on Twitter who have been getting abuse off for the last few days, I've been getting 14-year-old, 15-year-olds calling us a certain word as well. Which, it's got to go for the smoke. But I haven't once said that I believe William Story. I just said I don't understand why you would go on so much. But he did tell us today in a message. He said that's happening. That's how he said. I mean, does that mean I believe him? So if he's watching, that doesn't mean I believe him. That's just what he said. Okay. So I had James Copley and I think Matty says as well, and Jacob Dion on Twitter. I've never once said that I believe him. I've just, he's obviously he said he wants to keep me in the loop. So that's it, really.
Who have we not come? Michael, we haven't come to you on this topic of conversation.
Quite a day.
I was going to say, no, he's quite man, Michael Bowers. So Michael, what do you think? It's approaching a week now since this takeover first broke that it could potentially be happening. There's been talk of William Story going in with another bid. What's your thoughts on the current situation at the moment?
Well, I'm going to make a joke here because I want to read something Joanne Punchin's put on the live chat, and it's for Dino and Sean. It says, "How does Dino know Sean has no bottom?" I don't know why I felt like that, but that was just something that I wanted to get a reaction at. Really hasn't happened.
I've got a good eye, put it that way.
Yeah. Oh, okay. There you go, Joanne. There's Joanne.
Spend a lot of time on night together.
Harry, don't you exaggerate this. Hey, you dirty-minded individual.
Spend a lot of time on night shift together.
Right, so what happens on night shift stays on night shift. For the takeover, I've got nothing else. My main point, Conrad stole my main point actually, and it was basically Eddie Bamber saying again, and I don't believe William Story, I don't believe he's taken over the club, but like, why has the club not come out and confirmed this? Surely it doesn't do any good for them business-wise to not deny that William Story's involved. I don't, and I know it might be just to take the negative publicity off them, but
that's more likely than. Because someone put in as well. Sorry to interrupt you there, Mike, but someone put in go on. As well about could it just be because what was it they put? Sorry on there when you were saying they didn't do it. Sorry, I've lost it now. Lost what I was talking about. Oh, that was it.
For no reason.
Because they say, is it something to do with the exclusivity? Well, they're not in exclusivity with him.
But apparently,
that's got nothing. Saying no to someone is not then saying who you're dealing with, what the details are. Just going, I'm not dealing with him.
Dawn, you wanted in there.
Yeah. Well, can you remember when Nick Barnes said near the start of the season, I think it was a couple of games in, on the radio, he said this as well. He was feeding all the information back to the fans. He said the group, the consortium they were in advanced talks. It was with the EFL checks, wasn't it? Now, that was 2 months ago. The EFL checks to this new consortium there. So does that mean that there was a consortium went for the club and then they backed out, or Donald changed his mind and it ended there? Nobody's mentioned that either. Because it doesn't take 2 months for an EFL check. It takes 1 to 2 weeks max. Do you get what I'm saying? So there's someone
interrupted Michael. Sorry,
Michael.
Just when your thing's finished.
No, that's fine. That's fine too. I was happy listening. Like I said, there was someone in the group chat that I said who I did very much agree with, and I'm trying to find it. But anyway, no, that's the point. Like for me, surely it doesn't do. That's what I was going to mention. Yeah, when Nick Barnes had basically came out and said that according to his contacts at the club, William Story's, there's nothing in that whatsoever. Okay, if that's the case, officially come out and confirm it then. If you're not in exclusivity with William Story, then you're entitled, really, to you should be legally allowed to come out and say, we are not taking this man seriously. That's the sort of thing that I'm just getting quite bored of, to be honest. Like, why has the club not said anything? Surely, if anything, could it not be arguably a bit of positive publicity that, that a lot of fans don't want William Story in charge of the club. The majority of people don't anyway. So come out and say, this is not happening. So that's at least one thing you put to bed in fans' minds. I don't understand Sunderland's logic here. For the takeover itself, like I've said, for me, I do see it as a takeover because ultimately it's going to be, unless Donald and Methvin are going to be left in charge with the operations and running of the club, which wouldn't surprise me, to be honest. Unless that happens, it's a takeover in terms of what the plans are, who's in charge, I would think. But you could also argue with Juan Sartori, who might actually do more than get pissed and smile on camera. If he's going to take the major stake, that
language, Michael.
Yeah. It's accurate though. All he's done really is just smile on Netflix, like all the stuff he's promised. Still waiting. Where is it? I'm bored of talking about it. Well, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't at this point.
Yeah, Dino, before we come to you, back to the live chat, Jake Collison, to not give Story validity over his claims, validity. Sorry, thank you. Over his claims. Mad Macam 88, the club aren't allowed to comment at all as the club is in a period of I think he was meant to say exclusivity.
Well, they'll be the ones setting the NDA. It's not anyone else. It might be the other person, but that doesn't mean the other person then goes, all right, don't mention my deal, but really don't mention anyone else's. That makes no sense why they would do that.
Yeah, oh no, you go, Michael, and then quickly I'm going to read these out.
What I was going to say was, like, if we can't comment at all, why has Nick Barnes allegedly been told that there's nothing in it? If they can't comment at all, they wouldn't have given him anything. But on the other hand, is Nick Barnes being sold up the wrong way? We don't know. That's and I know that's what I think Sean might have said that Williams' Stories claim that, but like. I just don't get it. If there's absolutely nothing in that, and they can't comment, then Nick Barnes wouldn't have been told anything.
The thing is, the club doesn't have to come out and say anything, because if you're not, it's like me saying, I'm going to buy the club, but I haven't told them about it. Them don't have to say, oh no, he's not. They don't have to say anything. They don't have to deny it, and they don't have to say, oh, we've got no interest in him. It's just
No, that's true. But if William Story isn't considered creditable, then it doesn't do them any good to not confirm that he's not involved. In my opinion, anyway.
But like you say, the club aren't saying anything. It's because William Story's saying it, but doesn't. But at the end of the day, if the club's not dealing with him, they don't have to say anything because they don't have to say we're denying it because he might have not been in contact. You just don't know. So the club will just say, let him crack on. We didn't need to talk to him. We don't have to say yes or no.
It's just strange, isn't it? The whole thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was saying from my perspective though, like the club want positive publicity. They've got to look after their own public image. So for me, why, it's fair to say, right, everyone's got their own individual opinion, but the majority of Sunderland fans do not want William Story anywhere near Sunderland Association Football Club. So surely for publicity and for a positive image, it would do them the world of good if there's absolutely nothing in this to simply come out and release a statement saying, no, it's not him, he's nowhere near the club, especially if Nick Barnes is being fed this. Again, if they can't reveal anything or don't want to reveal anything, they wouldn't have told Nick Barnes that, in my opinion. So I don't get Sunderland's understanding or logic with this. It surely would make sense for them if they want to avoid negative publicity to say that a person who barely anyone wants taken over at the club is nowhere near involved with us. To me, that just makes sense.
Yeah. Quickly before we move on to the preview of our trip to Doncaster Rovers at the weekend, staying on this topic, Clayton Edwards on the chat. This is Donald lying again with him saying, it's our club. We have a right to know what's happening. Absolute. I'm not going to swear live on air. Mad Mackham 88. Nick.
We all have. You may as well join in.
Nick Barnes is just saying rumours, nothing official. Now, I think this infuriates me, to be honest. Like fans who are having a go at Nick Barnes is only there to just talk about what has been. No, it's not his fault at all. Like Nick's a lovely bloke. He's a fantastic representation of our football club. And
quite more times than not as well. More times what he said correct. Sorry, go on.
Sean, go on.
Stuart Donald what's been leading Nick Barnes up a garden path. He's been feeding him information. He's just been feeding it back to us. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, Nick Barnes, you do feel sorry. I mean, he even said, I think a few weeks ago, that the information he got told a few weeks ago is different from what he's getting told now. Do you know what I mean? So he can only say what he's been told, but I just think one of Donald's associates is obviously feeding him lies, which is it's kind of he's like our commentator and he's a nice bloke. It's just it's not fair, like on the man. You know what I mean? So
it could just be playing us all. Literally, they could just be letting us fight over on Twitter or talk about it and just literally be sitting back going, if we say nothing, they'll all just not make it up, but they'll all just hear rumours and these, that, and the other side to side, and they'll all just be like, well, I've heard this and I've heard that, and this is going on over here, but he's definitely said this and he's definitely said that.
Comrade, with us being misled. That's never happened with this
exactly
whatsoever. That's never happened at all.
They'll probably and all this time, it's probably like everyone's probably already alluded to at some point on it. They'll probably just turn around the end and just go, "It's not happening."
No,
after all this time of messing about and just not saying anything.
Go on, Sean.
Another one as well. I think Chris Weatherspoon from the Wise Men See It, the accountant lad, the young lad, he put a tweet up 4 years ago saying that William Story's business went into a liquidation. Is that right?
I think.
According to a few people on the chat, they're saying that, particularly Andrew Robbins, that William Story's company has been bankrupt. He won't be taken over.
So that's another thing as well. I mean, it's just, honestly, this whole situation is just like, do you know what I mean? It's like a circus act, isn't it? It's like off the field it is, on the field it is. We're just an absolute laughing stock. I mean, laugh at them, the road. You know what I mean? Look what's going on at the minute, man. How
So, Sean, it's been like that for 5 years. I mean, Championship season, the relegation season, Premier League. We've been a laughing stock for about 5-6 years, man. Let's be fair. I mean, it's not just the last 3 years. It's been the last 5-6 years.
Can we move on to Doncaster? I'm fed up of takeovers now.
I was just finally about to come on to that. Reading out a few quick messages before we move on to the
no takeover messages.
Stu Shaw, guys. Why would Donald disclose anything about a possible?
What did I just say? Sorry.
The relationship with the fans has broken down, so there's not enough super glue to fix. Oh no! Compose yourself. DJ Earth, no takeover will happen. The deadly silence from the club answers all of our questions.
It goes on about the takeover messages.
Rachel Brettel, whoever buys the club, they need to be 100% committed, because they will get found out fast and need funds to BS. I think it was funds coming in as soon as possible. Pide's story will change the club's logo to an energy drink. I don't think it will go that far, mate, I'd say. But aside all of the takeover rumours that are going on at Sunderland Football Club right now, put that to one side. We've got a big game, haven't we, at Doncaster Rovers on Saturday. A few are saying that Phil Parkinson really needs to make a statement this weekend in terms of how he sets out his team in order for us to get a result, because personally, I think looking at this game more on a deeper level, I think it's a must win. There's so much negativity surrounding the club right now. And Doncaster Rovers, they currently sit 11th place in League One. Their last result was a 2-2 draw away at AFC Wimbledon. They've scored 18 goals so far this season, conceded 11. They've got a decent manager, Darren Moore, who used to be manager at West Brom. Players to look out for, our former left-back Reece James, Magda Gomez, who's been the top performer this season, and also Ben Whiteman as well. So what would you say that Phil Parkinson needs to change going into that Doncaster game? Who are we going to go to first? Super Mario. Let's go to you first, shall we, with the brilliant task tonight.
Mario Kart.
To be fair, I mean, you say it's a must-win game. Isn't every game a must-win game? I mean,
no, but like this weekend particularly.
Well, this...
Oh, Dino.
Dino, you've broken.
He's gone off to play Mario Kart Wii.
Yeah, he's gone to hop in his cart with Luigi and Bowser. Considering Dino's experiencing some technical issues, let's go to the mad mistake. You haven't spoken for a while, so Doncaster Rovers away this weekend. How do you see us going into this game?
I can't see Phil Pattinson making many difficult decisions. What he's going to do is he's going to keep the back three. McLaughlin right, Flanagan. He's going to bring 09 back at right wing back. Hume will stay at left wing back. He'll have Ledbetter, he'll have Scowen, he'll have Powell, he'll have Wyke, he'll have Maguire. That's the kind of formation he'll play. If he had any balls at all or any will to have a drive in midfield, you'd put Luke 09 in the central midfielder position, and you'll have Scowen, the rat, doing the dirty work in midfield, and having Luke 09 going forward, supplying the forward line. Now we've got the three amigos. We've got Grigg, O'Brien and Graham. Three terrible strikers at Sunderland at this moment in time. Which one of those three, even Maguire possibly, who's going to start with Wyke? Which one's going to be the best player to start with Wyke on Saturday? Graham's terrible. He couldn't hit a barn door. Grigg, after last week's performance, do we give him another chance or just put him on the field of the pasture? Does that mean ain't no O'Brien to complete 10 so far this season? So we're in no man's land. Does that mean Wyke and Maguire has to start? Because who do we have up front apart from Charlie Wyke? It's absolutely diabolical. We need another striker to come into form big time. So for me, Luke 09 is the key. Luke 09 is the energy, the engine room in the centre of midfield, the drive, the power, the port forward. I mean, Max Power needs to go on the bench. Dobson's not very good. And like I say, Scowen, out of the three, Scowen's only one. If Scowen can stay in the centre of midfield, stop wandering around up pitch and wandering all over the place and do his bloody job in the centre of midfield, do the rat job that he was brought in to do, instead of pissing about, and let Luke 09 do some of the forward play for me, and have Dan Neil on the bench, start Diamond as the right wing back, and bring Luke 09 in the centre of midfield. That's what I would do. But we know Phil Pattinson, stubborn Phil Pattinson, will keep the same routine, same team, and we'll probably go and get beat.
Before we come to you, Dino, nice of you to...
I don't know what happened there, to be fair.
A slight technical issue. Mad Macam 88, we getting beat. I think he's meant to say we're getting beat, unfortunately. He will play 5-2-3, and all his mates like Power and Dobson. And when we are desperate for a goal, he will bring on Aidan O'Brien. David Walker can only see another defeat, sadly. Robert Forster, he's put an interesting comment here. Doncaster currently have a goalkeeping crisis. They're looking to bring in an emergency keeper. And Mr. 90 beat 2-0, sadly. So, Dino, Doncaster away on Saturday. What would you say needs to change in that game? And how do you see Phil Parkinson setting up his team for that one?
Well, everything needs to change because if we play the way we did against, well, to be fair, against MK Dons, we had the chances, we just couldn't put them away. First of all, he needs to get Luke O'Nien in the centre midfield. The centre midfield's the worst part of our team. Honestly, nothing comes from centre midfield apart from giving the ball away. I want to see Diamond at right wing back. I really do. He's got pace. He can get forward. Fine, his final ball's not the best, but at least he's getting in them positions to get the ball in. Maybe one of them will connect with one of the strikers. I think Greg and Graham should not start. I don't even. Obviously, one of them will be on the bench, but I don't think they should start. Stick White up there. He's the best person in form at the moment. He's got the most goals. I'd probably drop Gooch. I think Gooch has not been playing very well. The centre backs, I'd probably bring McLaughlin back in. Maybe start Dean Sanderson. You've got actually a good partnership in the back. I mean, you could start Bailey Wright with Flanagan and Deon Sanderson or McLaughlin. That's entirely up to Parkinson, to be fair. But I wouldn't mind that back three of Bailey Wright, Flanagan and McLaughlin. I think it's time for Power to be dropped. Again, I think O'Nien should be in there. I think Scowen should be in there, and probably Ledbetter, because Ledbetter can be the sitter, and then you've got the two energetic centre midfielders running around, and Scowen and O'Nien. I think I think it's time for Maguire to come in, but I think we're going to should start him on the left, because it's obviously going to be a 3-5. What? I'm getting confused now.
3-5-2.
Christmas tree.
Yeah, the Christmas tree.
Maybe a 3-5-2 or whatever else he can do. But I think Maguire should come in. Instead of playing two up front, I think you should play Maguire in behind. I think Maguire should be behind and not up front. Because Maguire doesn't do anything up front. He does everything back. He should be doing everything behind the strikers. Let O'Nien get past him. Let the wingers get past him. On the left, obviously, I'm guessing Hume will start. I don't mind Hume. Obviously, McFadzean's probably injured with his hamstring.
Yeah, I think he's still out.
But if we're going to win this game, we need to have some creativity in the middle. It's as simple as that. If you're just going to go down the wings, Doncaster will figure us out. You need to do something different. You can't just play down the wings because it's so easy to stop the crosses and stop the left wing back and the right wing back getting down the channels. It's easy. So for me, this is Parkinson's make or break. If we get beat, obviously everyone will be going off it, but will anything change? Get him sacked? Probably not. So I'm not confident, to be fair. Not with how we've been playing, but got to back them, and hopefully we do get a result, to be fair.
Michael, before we come to you on the live chat, Chris Scott play Elliot Embleton behind Virgil van Wyk. We Philly 1-0 to Sunderland, #up by Easter. Honestly, it's such a dead joke now. Seriously. Just going. Bradley Young, Power, and 09. I think he's suggesting they should start. There was another. I've lost on the chat tonight.
Too many to do.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, I'll come back to another one in a minute. Looks like it's referring to our team selection.
Yeah, we've only got him in his left mind.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll try and fit it in as best we can. Michael, we'll come to you next.
Well, the biggest thing that needs to change is the application level from the players, in my opinion. I think that although we did have chances in the game to easily nick something out of the MK Dons game, let's not kid ourselves. Saturday was not a good enough performance. DEANO'S right. I think we need to take more responsibility down the middle of the park. I think there's somewhat. I think our midfielders are capable, especially Scowen. If you put O'Nien in there, then I agree. I think they are capable of creating chances through the middle. But at the same time, is O'Nien going to get down the middle? Probably not. I think he's established as a right wing back now. Whether people like it or not, that's just how I see it. Like I said, right, okay, put it this way. Doncaster will be a difficult game because Ipswich, or one of the teams who are above us in the table, went there and got smashed 4-1. That should tell you alone how difficult a game it's going to be. But the biggest thing for me that's got to change, we've got to start keeping clean sheets again. I'm getting a bit fed up. I know I said that after the Crew game, I think it was, where we'd only conceded once, and that wasn't even from open play, that we were going to concede goals, but I didn't quite mean like concede 2s and 3s and 2s. Like, well, no, I did expect a little bit better defensively than that. So for me, like I said, every game with Sunderland, whether people think it's realistic or not with this squad, the aim should be top 2. I don't think the squad is a top 2 squad. But at the same time, if that's not the aim, then we might as well pack in the season and forget it. So for this Saturday, you've got to win. And I think you've got to look to take responsibility in games. The 2 goals against MK Dons in particular were conceded from our own mistakes. Cameron Drome's header, class header, but it came from a free kick that we didn't need to give away. And we all know what happened with Powers mishap with the penalty. We basically pressed a self-destruct button against MK Dons, however decent a side that they are. Donny, in my opinion, will be a really tough test, and we need to start standing up to this. And these next 2 games as well, like I said that I would have accepted 4 points from these 2 had we beat MK Dons. But since we've lost that game, no less than 6 is good enough, in my opinion, from these 2. Whether people think that's realistic or not, I don't care.
Quickly, Bradley Young, I would like to see McFanzine on the left if he's fit. Sadly, I think he's going to be out this weekend because of injury. Albert Robinson, lots of pace in Doncaster's side to be wary of. Sean, we're going to come to you next. Doncaster Rovers away, what do you think going into this game?
Well, I'm not confident, put it that way. But if I was the manager, I'd be, I'd be giving them a lot of them. The last performance was unacceptable, and they all need a good shout out and a good turn up, because to be fair, there's a lot of them that's not pulling the weight. Do you know what I mean? But Doncaster, as Michael just said, Doncaster, right? They beat Portsmouth, who's in the top 6, and they beat Ipswich, who's in the top 6. So that tells you that if these players don't turn up on Saturday, we will get beat. So that's the one. They've got to turn up, and I think the team. I think Burge will come back in goal. I think you'll go back with the back three of Wright, McLaughlin, and Flanagan. That'd be back three. I would put O'Neill back, right wing back, and maybe play a little bit in the middle with Scowen, drop Power, and maybe Gooch. I don't know if he's going to go 3-4-3 or 3-5-2, but I think Gooch is wasted on the wing back. I think he's better as just off the strikers. So I hope he doesn't drop Gooch. But I think that's where you go with. I mean, Scowen. I mean, it was Power. The last game, he gets into positions. He does really well, and he just skies it every time. I think he's just going to have to practice his shooting, because he's absolutely terrible. For me, it's a tough game, and as Mike just said, I mean, we need to be winning the next two games, and Doncaster's a good side, and Fleetwood is always up against us. But if we get beat on Saturday, will it be Phil Parkinson's last game? You would think so, but like I said earlier on, will Stuart Donald sack him? I don't think so. I'm not confident at all. I'll be honest, going into the game. Last season we 1-2-1 down there. Me, Dino, and Michael went down. It was a great day.
That was a brilliant away day.
Excellent atmosphere. I think it was 6,000 Sunderland fans. It was great.
Best away performance last season, I felt.
Like these players, I mean, they've got that responsibility as well. Like they've got to be, to play for Sunderland. I mean, can you imagine us like having a chance to play for your beloved team? You know what I mean? You would just give it all. You would be put everything on the line. And I'm not saying that with the players. I'm just saying that a lack of confidence.
You know why, Sean? Because they're not from the area. This isn't their beloved club. This is just our club.
Right. Well, I know I was making an example, Dino. I'm saying that if you had the chance to play for Sunderland, you would just give your all, wouldn't you? But I don't say that with them players.
A lot of passion and pride. Yeah. Absolutely. Conrad, going into Donny away this weekend, what do you reckon?
I don't know. I've tried to think of a lot of positives over the last few weeks at each game we've gone into, and it doesn't seem to quite add up at any point to what I want. So I likely think we'll probably, and this is awful to think, we'll probably end up scraping a draw out of it, because if I were Doncaster, you're looking at us now going, we could have them. We turned over Ipswich 4-1 a few weeks back, and I wouldn't say we're in disarray, but we are not a hard team to figure out, and we are not a hard team to get rattled. Look at MK Dons. We were far better for 12 minutes, and as soon as we scored, we switched off. They scored, and we gave up. We were like, oh, God, what do we do? How do we play football again? Like, even we were saying it on the weekend, they just forgot. They just literally went, what was the plan? What are we doing? And then that's when complacency set in or mistakes set in, and when we threw it away. I want us to win, but I probably think we'll end up drawing the game.
Yeah, I think it's a difficult one. Personally, I think Phil Parkinson needs to make a statement in terms of his team selection. I think we are due some changes in that starting 11, considering we dodged the bullet the last few games, putting in performances which have been okay at best. I think the likes of potentially Dion Sanderson and Jack Diamonds may come back in to the starting 11 on Saturday. Chris Maguire potentially playing in a number 10 role, and maybe Lyndon Gooch playing in his natural position, which is out on the left. We're going to go for a quick score prediction now before we end the show. I'm going to work my way from the left. Conrad, what do you reckon?
1-1.
Sean?
3-1 to Doncaster.
Whoa. I thought I was being negative. Jeez.
Oh, Michael?
3-1 Doncaster. I'm not confident at all.
Super Mario?
1-0 Doncaster.
The man mistake?
Phil Parkinson's team turns up, it's 2-0 to Doncaster, but if my team turned up 2-0 to Sunderland, so I'm going 2-0 Sunderland.
Man of
He's
God,
picking the
man
team
of
this week.
confidence. Come on.
Can Terry pick the team?
Right. Yeah, I think that concludes the show this week. Thank you for joining us on the Thursday Night Live. Conrad Lee, Sean Middleton, Pantsman, Super Mario, Dino Elgar, Michael Bowers, and also the man mistake as well.
And Jacob, the Arsenal fan.
Jacob, what was your score prediction?
My score, I'm going to go for a 1-0 Sunderland win, a scrappy 1-0 win.
You've made a mistake there, Jacob. You need to do what Wee Philly does and just say, I will pick whatever the score is.
He's threatened to give me the chop if I didn't read out his score tonight, but I've seen on the live stream. But yeah, anyway, guys, don't forget to join in. Sean, Conrad and Michael will be doing a live stream for the Doncaster game on Saturday. Is it a 2:30 start? Was it
2:45?
2:45 start, and we'll be back on Sunday for the Sunday bunch, discussing the performance, hopefully, which is a win away at Doncaster Rovers. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our fantastic Terry.
Try and get the 5K.
I want to say a great performance from Jacob, the presenter. Brilliant.
Well done.
Yeah, thank you. It'll be my first one.
Well done, mate.
Yeah, thank you. It means so much. Yeah, so we'll be back on Saturday for the live stream that Sean, Michael and Conrad will be doing, and also for the Sunday bunch as well. Thank you for joining us tonight, guys, here on SAFC Fan TV. How are the lads? Keep the faith, because we are Sunderland till